Producing great sounding bass lines is hard, and using pre-made loops and presets just makes it worse because you're not building your track with intention. After working with over 400 producers and helping them finish music they're proud of, I've developed a simple method for coming up with pro-sounding bass lines without relying on any pre-made loops, presets, and MIDI packs. So in this video, I'm going to show you what that method is and how you can implement it just using the stock tools of your DAW. Here's how it works. Now, the reason the bass lines in your reference tracks sound so hypnotic and interesting is because they combine the right MIDI programming with the right sound design. So I'll show you step by step how that works. So you can actually do this together with me. You open up Wavetable, you open up the chord MIDI device, and you also need an arpeggiator. So as you can see, we have the chord feeding MIDI notes into the arpeggiator, and then this goes into the wavetable that creates the sound. Now, for the chord device to work, you actually need some kind of a note or a selection of notes that's going to trigger this. So I will pick, since I'm in G, and I picked this like whole half diminished scale, which is just a weird, interesting scale that I happen to like. I'll go into this here and we'll fold this to the scale, and we will pick G here. Now let's listen to the standard patch here. I will not touch the sound design for now, bear with me. Instead, we're going to define some of the notes that we're going to play. Now, the cool thing is that Ableton, since some of the more recent versions, has this like scale awareness feature. So if you activate that scale awareness feature, it means that whatever I select in terms of these chord shifts will be reflected and running through the scale that I've picked. So let's just add a few shifts here. Now, if I change the scale, it will sound different. And you can use whatever scale feels more natural for the type of music you make. So I will just keep it with this one. Now this already has like a quite interesting feel because we have these 5 different notes. You can actually emphasize this by making this like 5 quarter notes long. So this gives you this polymetric feel. Now, if you want to, you can also just try out, first of all, fewer notes. And you have to dial in some settings where you feel like, okay, this is going to be an interesting bass line for me. I find this much easier than programming MIDI notes on the piano roll. So let's just play around a little bit until we land on something interesting. So the magic in the MIDI note programming happens in the combination of the chord, the scale you select, and then the arpeggiator style that you pick. So for example, let's go here for this diverge thing. Really like this converge setting now. Now, what exactly you pick will vary a little bit on the type of music, but this is exactly what makes it stronger than just going for a song, pre-made loop or preset, because you have this fine-tuned control over what goes into the synth, first of all. One thing I will do for my style of music, which is more like the hypnotic style of techno, is I will make the rate much faster here. I'll set it to 16th notes, and you will already hear how this sounds different. What you can then do is you can reduce the gate here. Which basically tells you like, are the notes overlapping or not? And we can actually go in the synth as well and just make it a bit more plucky. If you want to, you can also add a little bit of swing. And already within minutes, we have something that is like a good foundation to then build our sound design off. We're now going to design a bass synth patch that is based on that foundation of the MIDI notes that we're sending in. And before we get to that, if you struggle with finishing songs, I have a free gift for you. It's called the Finisher Framework. My 3 simple steps that you can use to finish at least one great sounding song per month. You can get it at pickyourself.com/framework. The link is also in the description. I'm a big fan of using delay and reverb effects quite early on in my patch. And for this, in this case, and I'll show you why that matters later on, I will actually create a return channel, and I will put the Ableton Echo on that return channel together with a hybrid reverb. So we'll set this to completely wet, and the reverb will make a little bit wet. We'll fine tune these settings later on, but I'll basically use just the algorithmic side. And then we'll send a bit into that return channel. So I'm using a little bit of stereo spread by slowing down one of the sides and bumping up the other one a little bit. So it has a little bit of that ping pong feel, but it's not like a straight standard ping pong. And the reason I use this return channel is because now I also have fine control over what I'm actually sending into that reverb. If you send too much bass information into your reverb, it can kind of clutter the mix later on. So I can already go in here and add the auto filter. I actually think it would benefit from a bandpass filter, but a really big one. So bandpass filters just let a certain type of frequency information go through. I actually don't want too much high end in here, and I also don't want too much low end in here. So it's actually quite cool. So now let's get into wavetable and actually take care of our sound design. Let's keep this as a sine wave for now and just play around with a little bit of frequency modulation. Let's tune it down actually and increase the amount. If you want more sub information, you can obviously activate the sub here as well. And whenever you find something which has like a really nice sweet spot, you can think about, okay, maybe that is already something I want to modulate later on. So here, the subtone, if we select this and we go over to the modulation matrix, we have it available. So you can, for example, put an LFO onto this. Now the LFO, since you don't want it to restart with every cycle and you instead want it to be floating along a little bit, you have to go to the modulation sources, select that LFO, deactivate that retrigger, and this makes sure that it won't start again with every bar, but instead it keeps ebbing and flowing together with the music. Next up, we'll make the sound even more plucky by filtering it a little bit and putting an envelope on that filter. So once again, the envelopes, you select the envelope you want to make, like this envelope 2, for example. You go to the matrix and you map this envelope 2 to the filter frequency. When I found one of these interesting sweet spots, like the one with the tone here, and the LFO is already dialed in, what I can do is I can map that same LFO to something like the filter frequency, so that it also opens up in the same way. You might be asking, okay, Philip, this is like a nice sounding bass line, but how do I actually write something with this now? How do I develop this into something more? That's a great question, and there's an easy solution. You basically go over to arrangement view. So let's assume we have a bit more stuff here. We want to develop our track. What you can do is you select the bass line here and you just pick like the frequency, for example, hit A, and then you can automate this and basically start with something a bit lower, bring in a new part like this. Or one of my favorite parameters, actually using the release time. And this means the note will start to ring out longer and basically flow from one into the other. This can create this like unsettling, swelling feeling. This is great for leading into a breakdown, for example. You can bring it down again. And the second trick is that you can actually go into the MIDI notes as well. And for example, put in a second MIDI note somewhere on top of this first one, which will change the pattern. Now, I obviously do this by duplicating that pattern and then just do it on the duplication. First pattern is the clean one. Second pattern is this one. And then if you want to create an energy level above that, you can basically go to the oscillators here and activate the second one. And for this, I will use a slightly more aggressive shape. Deactivate retrigger and map this LFO to the wavetable position. So this is basically scanning through this wavetable now. Could add even more motion with this here, or also FM it. So add the LFO also to the FM amount here. And then you can add a little bit of that into the mix once this part hits. So here, oscillator gain is the thing we're now automating. So we could bump that up right about here. Now you know exactly how to create pro-sounding bass lines, but that alone is not going to magically help you finish tracks. So watch that video next, in which I break down exactly how to arrange tracks without getting stuck.